Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Boruto Chapter 81 spoilers have finally been released. Now, the full spoilers haven't yet been released. It's probably going to be released in maybe a few hours, maybe a day, maybe two. You never really know. But in this batch of spoilers, there was a bunch of information. For example, a lot of designs was actually shown. We found out who the new Hokage was. We actually found out what the potential next arc is actually going to be about. We did actually get a whole fight in this particular chapter. So there's a bunch of stuff that did actually come out in these spoilers that are pretty much going to give us a good idea of specifically what we should be expecting in the next chapter. But regardless, first things first, on the cover photo we have Boruto, and it's kind of crazy, man, because I didn't necessarily think that Boruto was going to actually be on the cover photo. I kind of didn't necessarily think that he'd be that prevalent in the first chapter of Boruto Part 2, but it seems that he actually was. On top of that, in the next tweet, shout out my guy Abdul, we see the full design of Sarada. The text on screen, it says, in the village of Konoha, which has undergone the great cataclysm in the past, in front of the Hokage room, Sarada with a dissatisfied face. Now this right here goes directly into the next topic, who the actual next Hokage is, and it seems to be Shikamaru. This man Shikamaru. Now this right here is like an actual controversial pick, mainly because a lot of people did actually want to see Kakashi be the Hokage, and if it wasn't actually Kakashi, a lot of people wanted to see Sakura be Hokage. Shikamaru, in my personal opinion, was definitely one of the no-brainer choices, just because of the sheer fact that he was always by Naruto being the Hokage, and not only that, he kind of already sees like potentially what he has to do, and not only that, him being like some of the biggest brains, it kind of just makes sense for him to potentially be a Hokage. The only fear that I do actually have is the fact that, you know, Hokages are kind of supposed to be strong, and for the threats that we're probably going to be facing, Shikamaru is nowhere close to them. Now don't get me wrong, Kakashi wouldn't have been that either, Sakura wouldn't have been that either, but Kakashi and Sakura, like at this stage, we're probably stronger than Shikamaru. But I definitely do want to see exactly how Shikamaru handles this role. I have faith in my guy. I definitely do believe that him, brains being behind the scenes, being the Hokage, definitely has some of the perks. But regardless, in the actual tweet, it did actually say Sarada is seen arguing with Shikamaru, who now wears the Hokage cloak, about Boruto's innocence and how he isn't a traitor. Shikamaru is worried for Sarada as a shinobi. Sarada, my role model is the 7th Hokage, not you. Alright, Sarada already throwing shots early. The most interesting thing about this tweet isn't even the fact that Shikamaru is the Hokage, but also what they actually think about Boruto. Now, it pretty much says that Shikamaru is kind of basically worried about Sarada because Sarada is essentially telling Shikamaru that, hey, Boruto's innocent and he's not a traitor. So it seems like it's still going to be the common knowledge that Boruto killed Naruto and Kawaki's still going to be the son of Naruto. This right here was a huge question mark, man, because even though Eida's powers did actually work, Boruto still has like baby pictures with Naruto in the same house. I'm pretty sure there aren't any baby pictures of Kawaki in that house. So, and not only that, there's a bunch of videos. You have the video of Boruto essentially talking about how he saved the Hidden Leaf Village, and of course they were referencing Boruto being the son of Naruto. So there's a bunch of ways that you could have possibly seen that, hey, Boruto's actually the real son. But no, they didn't take that. They're still believing that Kawaki is actually the son of Naruto, which is kind of cool. It's a lot more interesting for the plot, and it's also confirmed that Sarada actually does have on Boruto's jacket. In the next frame, we see our first look at Kawaki, but also next to Kawaki we see Naruto and Hinata. This is going to be an interesting storyline throughout the whole entire thing, man, because we're going to be asking, is Naruto and Hinata going to be freed? Is this the arc where Naruto and Hinata are going to be freed? And when they are freed, exactly how are Naruto and Hinata going to be reacting? Are they going to be absolutely pissed at Kawaki? Will he get the death penalty? Will Kawaki even be alive at that particular point? But regardless, this is going to be the biggest storyline and biggest plot point for the foreseeable future. I'm pretty sure when Boruto comes back and when Sarada actually does talk to Boruto, one of the first discussions is going to be, how in the hell are we going to free Naruto and Hinata? What are we going to do to free them? So this right here is going to be cool. And not only that, it also seems that they haven't really aged. Now we don't necessarily know for sure, man, because even Kakashi's design from part 1 of Naruto all the way up to Boruto part 2 without the Sharingan, my guy pretty much looks the same. So you don't necessarily know for sure if they did age. We also see Sumire's design, no changes for Eida and Damon. Sarada and Sumire speak about the rewrite of history and if there is anything we can do to reverse it. Eida says no and further asks, how are you two able to retain your memories? Alright, so this right here, another big plot point as well. First things first, we got the designs of Sumire. She looks like a regular schoolgirl. We got the designs of Eida and Damon. This right here is kind of interesting, man, because it doesn't really look like they've specifically aged. And if that's the case, Damon could probably be like his true age could possibly be like 150 years old or something like that. Now, not only that, Sarada asked Eida and Damon if there was a way to actually reverse the omnipotent abilities. Now, you never really know how Eida is going to take the fact that, hey, these two are going to be completely invulnerable to her abilities. We don't even know if they're going to be absolutely invulnerable, but as of right now, they weren't necessarily affected with her actual attraction omnipotent abilities, and they're not necessarily affected by her new omnipotent abilities. So it's definitely a possibility that they're just invulnerable to all Eida's abilities. But how is Eida going to take that? And of course, she did ask the question, how are you two able to retain your memories? I don't necessarily think this right here is going to be that big of a deal. There's multiple ways that Sarada could actually get out of this. She could basically say that she was told by a bunch of people that Eida herself told someone, and then they relayed the message to Sarada. So there's a bunch of ways that Sarada could actually get out of this, but I definitely do want to see exactly how they handle it if Eida does actually realize that, hey, those two are actually completely invulnerable to their abilities. Now, not only that, we also do get the updated design of Mitsuki as well. Now, I did kind of say that Mitsuki would look a bit like Log. He looks a tad bit different. Maybe it's just the clothes that he's wearing, maybe it's just his facial structure, but my guy looks a little bit unique, and I shout out to my guy. But also, it does kind of show that he's right by Kawaki. So I'm guessing Mitsuki, he's still believing that Kawaki is actually the son of Naruto and the person who has been his best friends for years and years and years. So this right here is also going to be a problem, and because it is the time skip, you have to assume that his sage powers got not only more controllable but probably even more powerful. So this right here possibly gives Kawaki a very, let's say, valuable henchman to pretty much sick on anybody that actually does come up to him. Now obviously I'm guessing that he's probably not necessarily going to be as strong as some of the upper echelons, the top tiers, the Codes, the Borutos, and characters such as that, but my guy Mitsuki is still supposed to be an extremely strong character. I wouldn't even be too surprised if he's like rivaling a character like Delta in part 2 of Boruto. But the tweet says Mitsuki also gets the design upgrade. Mitsuki still has hate for Boruto and wants to kill him. Kawaki says Boruto cannot escape his eye, so Kawaki will know when he enters the village. He can also now fly, another one of the Otsutsuki inherited abilities. This is fire. I've always wanted to see my guy fly, and one of the reasons why I was really afraid of flight in Boruto, and this is kind of weird, but Naruto is supposedly, or he was supposedly able to fly, but we have really never really seen him fly. I always make the case, and I always kind of talk about being in the air and him potentially levitating, but shout out my guy Kidamaki and everybody else in the Boruto space that doesn't really believe he did fly. They always make the point that you never really see a definitive flight. This right here is like definitive. Like, my guy is just floating and levitating in air. Now we don't really know if he can actually push off, like if he can actually fly, but levitation, it seems like it's definitely possible for my guy. And not only that, we did see Boruto levitate when Momoshiki was controlling his body, but we never really seen Boruto levitate on his own. So I can't wait to see if my guy Boruto can actually also levitate. This is going to be absolutely insane. Himawari and Chocho also get revealed. Chocho is training with Himawari, who wants to become stronger. This right here, in my personal opinion, first things first, I really am glad that Himawari is training. I talked about her in my last video, how she could potentially be the MVP of the series. I really do still believe that. But her getting trained by Chocho, bad sign. Bad sign. Shout out to my gal Chocho. She's great. But I would have rather like a Kakashi take over the training of Himawari or something like that. I'd definitely rather even Shikamaru being the Hokage take over the training. Anybody but Chocho. Let's keep it 1,000. But I definitely am excited to see exactly how Himawari does develop throughout the entire series. I think she could definitely be one of the strongest characters, because Damon did actually talk about her having a bunch of hidden powers and a bunch of hidden potential. I hope she unlocks that. In the next tweet, we do actually get Himawari's opinions about Boruto. It says that Himawari has doubts about Boruto being a bad guy, and further thinks Naruto isn't dead. She has inner feelings that he is alive somewhere. I do want to see exactly how they handle this. They missed out on the possibility of her fostering a bunch of hatred for Boruto, kind of like Itachi. Now obviously she wouldn't necessarily think it was her brother, because she still thinks that Kawaki is, but it kind of missed it on that opportunity. The next tweet, it has the Konoha being attacked by Code's 10-tail minion army, the Claw Grimes. It also shows Sarada fighting them off. So this is good for multiple reasons. It kind of shows the power level of the Claw Grind. It also kind of shows how strong Sarada is relative to them. We don't know specifically how strong they are, but we do kind of know how strong Sarada is relative to them. Now, it doesn't really give us much of a clue, just because of the sheer fact that, again, we don't fully know the scales of how strong Sarada is compared to everyone else, and how strong the Claw Grimes is compared to everyone else. But now, if Sarada is this strong, we could possibly assume that, hey, Mitsuki could possibly take one of them down. We damn sure know that Kawaki could take probably multiple of them down. Same with Boruto. But this right here is definitely a decent thing. Them getting it into direct action in the first chapter. I love it, in my personal opinion. As a guy who personally loves a bunch of fights in Naruto, I love this scene. Now the next tweet, it says Code makes his entrance and he also has a slash on his left eye. My goodness. And he says, good morning, Sarada. My guy is taking L's on and off screen. Yo, Code is like the grandfather of L taking. Even as being unlimited, he has a slash on his eye. And Boruto has a sword. So it just makes sense that Boruto is a person to actually do this to Code. And Code attacking the Hidden Leaf Village with the claw grimes, that definitely seems like a signal to potentially draw Boruto out of wherever he's hiding. And that right there definitely did seem to work, because the next tweet, we see Boruto with his foot literally launched almost directly inside the throat of my god Code, pretty much using his face as a doormat. This is insane. Boruto looks absolutely elite in almost every single image and scan that we do see. Yo, I don't really know if they're going to continue this. This is probably like a very, very hard design to actually draw in every single frame. Look at all the accessories, everything that my guy has. A couple things we gotta point out: he does not have his karma seal out. He's doing this to Code without his karma seal. Now, this is just like a regular entrance. We can't really take much from it. Code could possibly still destroy Boruto. If Boruto is doing this to Code in his base and he's actually able to beat Code in his base, that's scary. If you guys don't recall, this Code, Unlimited Code, is supposed to be stronger than Jigen. The same Jigen that absolutely demolished Naruto and Sasuke, peak prime Naruto and Sasuke without the Barrymore. And of course, in the final 2 pages is Boruto standing with Sarada, and Kawaki also shows up. This right here is absolutely insane. It does make sense because Kawaki did say that as soon as Boruto enters the Hidden Leaf Village, he's gonna know, he's gonna have tabs on him. But this is nuts. The final 2 pages of the chapter, Sarada is shocked to see Boruto. Meanwhile, Kawaki asserts, "You are out, Boruto," essentially meaning out of hiding. Preview text: the whirlpool of destiny / fate to be mixed together once again. This is different. From these spoilers, it's already a 10 out of 10. Like, I don't even bump the spoilers. From the designs, it's already a 10 out of 10. This chapter is already going to be a 10 out. Bump the design. From the actual storyline, this chapter is going to be a 10 out of 10. They definitely showed up. I definitely do have to give them that. This right here is going to be insane. I really can't wait till we get some context behind all these images when the actual spoilers or the full spoilers do actually drop. Let me know what you guys think about these spoilers in the comment section down below, man. This is nuts. I'm losing my voice low key. All right, it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.